India decided to rest the big guns, but the new ones just did not fire. 90 for no loss became 181 all out, and West Indies managed to get that chase through and with that end a 9-match losing streak and earn only their third win in men's ODIs against India in the last 5 years. Welcome to ESPNcricinfo Match Day at the end of the second ODI between West Indies and India. Thank you, Wasim Jaffer, for your time as always. You can't fault the idea, as we discussed in the preview, and what India were looking to do by resting their big guns. But that batting effort will come as a bit of a rude jolt.
It does. Obviously, sometimes you rest your big players after the series win, and probably they thought the team without Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli will probably do the job, but it didn't happen. It was a very below par batting performance, and I'm really surprised by it. Sometimes alarming. Because players got start and they got out, and the shots that they played and got out to, I'm a little worried because then it goes on to show that we are again expecting Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma to take us that ODI batting pressure, and 180 is way below on this pitch. The kind of start that we got, 90 for no loss, then 90 for one, and then last 9 wicket falling for 90 odd runs goes on to show that we were far too short, and obviously the answers that Hardik Pandya said that India wanted, there's some questions. I don't know what kind of answers we have got.
Yeah. And in fact, the questions have only increased because after 90 for no loss is when most of those players who we are referring to started coming into the picture. So let's look at them one by one. First up, Sanju Samson, who got a go at number 3, only the second time he's batted that high up in his nascent ODI career, and was completely caught unaware by one from Yannick Karaya that turned a lot. It is an unenviable position. We've recognized that, where you need to make maximum impact despite getting minimum performance, minimum chances, but you have to look at it as a golden opportunity lost, as you dubbed it before the game.
It was a very good opportunity, and you got the start, 90 for no loss, and then you come in at 90 for one, and he played himself in, and it was a very soft dismissal. I mean, it looked like he didn't pick the leg spin. He was shaping up to play the googly, and then gave a simple catch. So, we keep talking that in the IPL, he struggles against the leg spin and googly bowlers, and it looked like it continues to be so. And when you're batting at the top of the order, you can't be showing this kind of vulnerability against spin bowling, especially an Indian player. So that question remains, and obviously he's lost a very good opportunity.
Hopefully for Samson and for his hordes of followers, there is still one more game at least, which he gets in the last one. Now, one man who can't complain of a lot of opportunities in this format is Surya Yadav. But has the time come now to ask the question, Wasim, whether time is up for Project Surya in ODIs, at least as far as this World Cup cycle is concerned?
Well, I think he'll also probably get one more opportunity in the third ODI. And that's probably it, because then KL and Shreyas Iyer might come in and he'll find difficult to get into the side. But again, the way he bats, and we also spoke that he takes a very high risk options, and he looks to hit boundaries. Sometimes that's what makes him lose his wicket every now and then. He takes a very high risk option and plays some outrageous shot. When it comes good, it looks good. But in the 50-over format, you need to take the game deep. That's what Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli and even Shikhar Dhawan, who were very successful 1-2-3 batters, they used to do that. The top 4 players set the game up by batting bulk of the overs, obviously, and then converting their starts into a big score. And Surya had that opportunity, but it's just that it's his nature to take risky options. Sometimes makes him lose his wicket. So he needs to change that, especially in this format. You can't keep looking to hit boundaries every second, third ball or every over. And we see him do that time and again, getting a start and then losing that start and throwing his wicket away. Today was one such case again, and that's what he needs to improve in his 50-over batting.
Looking at a more specific aspect, Wasim, it was a curious finding that he's now been out thrice in just 13 balls to slow left armers in ODIs this year. Add to that, not very impressive returns against that bowling type in the IPL to 36 for 2, I guess, in 45 balls. What do you read of that?
Again, what I said, he takes a very high risk option. In the first game, he got out sweeping. That's his very strong shot. But somehow he's got out to it a few times in the IPL also and in international game also. Today also, he looked to cut the ball, probably hoping it will go to his left and go to a boundary. He could have easily played, on the right of his and got a single, but that's his nature. He wants to hit boundaries. And that's the reason for his downfall every time and again. So that's what I think he needs to improve. He needs to take the game deep. Look for less riskier options, and once he's past 50, 60, then he can finish the game off. We all know that, but he needs to game that far. And if he keeps taking those risky options and hitting across the line or playing those outrageous shots, when it doesn't come off, you can lose your wicket. So he needs to be mindful of that.
Now, between Samson and Surya in the batting order was what for many would be a surprise entry. And I want to talk about Akshar Patel's match here. He got to bat at number 4, got out to a snorter, in all fairness, but he got only 2 overs when India bowled. What do you make of where he was used in both the suits, and how do you explain the reasoning behind that?
Well, him coming at number 4 doesn't surprise me because the left arm spinner was bowling, then the leg spinner was on, and that left hand right hand combination is not a bad idea because Ishan Kishan had got out, so it's understandable, and he's good enough batter to bat at that number. He's made some significant scores, so it doesn't surprise me when he came in at 4. What surprised me was, he didn't took a single in the first ball. If you remember, he hit it to the cover. It was a misfield, and it could have been an easy single. I mean, it's a small thing, but shows a little bit of complacency, in his batting or in his running between the wicket. He got out after that, but I think it was a good move. He's a good enough batter to bat at that number. About his bowling, that's been the case with Akshar Patel. Sometimes the captain doesn't trust his bowling as much, and on today's game, he should have definitely got to bowl a lot more. And this is what happens when you play with 7 bowling options. Somebody is going to be under bowled because you've got so many bowlers. And case was with Akshar Patel. He's only bowled 2 overs, decent overs. So the captain need to trust him a little bit more. That's all I can say. It happens with him in the IPL. It happens with him when India plays 3 spinners. Sometimes he gets under bowled, but I think he's a good enough bowler to bowl 6, 7, 8 overs.
Yeah, so that's the India, the new players, the ones who were being tried, and as much as this was an Indian failure, it was also a very complete performance from West Indies, which is all the more impressive given how away from the game they looked just 48 hours earlier. The one thing that stands out, if you compare both the innings, Wasim, are the seamers. India had Shardul Thakur doing his bit with his golden arm. But if you look at the other 3 pacers, Hardik, Mukesh and Umran, between them nearly 13 overs wicketless, whereas West Indies with their 3 primary seamers in Seals, Joseph and Romario Shepherd, 6 for 100, causing all the damage. What do you made them that much more effective than India's try?
Well, I think their seamers, hit the pitch. They were hit the pitch hard kind of bowlers, so they used the pitch a little bit more. They used the short ball a little bit more, I would say, and some ordinary shots as well on top of that. Ravindra Jadeja mistiming a pull shot, Shardul Thakur getting LBW. Ishan Kishan was a little bit unlucky that, went straight to the fielder to a very good catch. So I thought they bowled the short ball and put the Indian batters on a back foot a little bit more. The Indian seamers tried doing that, but I think Kyle Mayers played them really well. Shardul does use his short ball well, and he got success not just with the short ball, but even to the good balls as well. But I think our bowlers were way below par. Umran as well. He bowls with pace, but there's not much movement. There's not much variation. Hardik as well. He tried his bowling with the new ball, tried to swing the ball, but didn't get much success. Mukesh as well. So I thought the West Indian bowlers probably use the short ball more and use the pitch a little bit more compared to the Indian bowlers, I would say.
And what about their spinners? Gudakesh Moti had a very impressive outing, as he did in the first one as well. Yannick Karaya with that wicket of Sanju Samson, they looked threatening most of the time they were bowling.
Yeah, I mean, even in the first game, even though the score, was very less, but left arm spinner Moti, he looked a decent spinner, bowls in the right channel, spins the ball, and so does Carrier. He spins the ball, surprise Sanju Samson, and they put the pressure. And whenever the opportunity came, they brought West Indies back into the game. They put the pressure on the Indian batter. They didn't give him the easy runs. So you got to give credit to them. How they came back into this game.
And then finally, even in the chase, at 91 for 4, you could have had nerves from a West Indian standpoint, given the kind of collapse we'd seen, not just in the last ODI, but also through the qualifiers. But then you had in Hope, the captain, leading from the front and looking easily the most comfortable batter on the day. And perhaps their biggest gain from the day in KC Karti, who's so new. And in this first chance in this series, not just the win, but what it perhaps offers them as an option for the future.
Yeah, that was a game-changing, obviously, the match-winning partnership. At that stage, it looked like, 4 down, 90 for 4. Game could have gone anywhere with the spinners bowling. Hetmeyer just had got out. And then Karti played really, really well. Somebody who's coming in as a replacement, he handled the pressure situation really well. Rotating the strikes and whenever he got an opportunity against spinner, played some good shots. And Hope being Hope, even in the first game, he was their best batter. And again, shouldered the responsibility in the chase in the second game also. And he's their number one batter in this side. So he showed why he's the captain, and obviously he's their number one player, took the responsibility, and that was the match-winning partnership. And something nice for them to have a Karti as a batsman coming in for Roman Powell, who's an experienced player, but a youngster coming in, doing the job. That's a big positive to them.